Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Bell. It is Thursday, February 15, 2024. It is 60 seconds after the bell, which means it is time to go beyond the news, beyond the charts, and beyond the bell. So it is, we had a big Valentine's Day show yesterday, so everything's just kind of coming down today. We had some pretty good action in the markets. Actually, some very tradable action in the markets today. And that's an important distinction, right? There are times the market moves a lot. And if it's not necessarily giving us signals in one way or the other, it can be hard to capture some of those moves. There are days where the NQ has a total of maybe a 60 to 70 point range, a pretty small range. But if it's giving clear signals at the top and the bottom of those ranges, we can make money all, hand over fist all day. And then there's days the market can, the NQ can sometimes run 100, 200, 300 points without much of a clue in terms of direction or anything like that. And it's not very tradable, right? So, with that in mind, okay, Michael, actually, I'll disagree with you. I thought there was some great trading action in the markets today. So first of all, guys, this is an interactive show. Okay, so in our YouTube chat, feel free to make comments, ask questions. I'll respond to them as I see them. Obviously, I get off on little tangents and making points and stuff like that. So if I don't see it right away, I'll catch up with the chat. I want to see the bells in the chat as we ring the bell for Beyond the Bell. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel because that gives us an opportunity to continue to put out great content. The more views we're getting, the more likes we're getting, that tells us you want more of this type of information and education, and we will provide it for you. So with that in mind, guys, we're going to do something we've never done on this program before. We are going to switch up the order. Usually we start with the big picture, but today, guys, we are going to go right into the lesson of the day. And I think it's very important, guys. So I've done some form of trading coaching in education for about 6 years. Okay, take anything you can think of that I've probably done. Big live events in front of thousands of people, done those. A little more intimate live events in front of a couple dozen people, done those. Done virtual events, done some form of this or fashion of this exact show in various formats in various places for about 4 years. So there's basically very few things I haven't seen or heard in this business. And when I work with somebody, okay, whether that's at one of these events, virtual one-on-one coaching, whatever the case may be, one of the things I emphasize, and one of the things that people that have taken courses and programs or a member of my communities or in Discords with me, like the Blue Sky Discord, all of that, which if you're not in the Blue Sky Discord, make sure you go to the bluesky.pro. All right, and in the lower left-hand corner, there's an invite to the Discord. That's where Mike's live trading is every day, right at the open. And it's also where you're going to find links to things like the show, announcements of promotions, giveaways, all that kind of stuff, right? So, yes, appreciate that. Thanks for letting us see those bells in the chat. So one of the things that I emphasize constantly with my clients is be in control of your trading. Okay, there's all sorts of different trading styles out there, guys, and this is something that's universal. Okay, I've worked with swing traders, I've worked with long-term traders, I've worked with now I exclusively work with futures day traders, right? And all of these things have in common that you need to be in control of your trading. Okay, and it's that ultimate power, guys, and this is what I truly wish for all of you. I wish you guys to make all the money in the world, right? I really, really do. But to get there, right, I wish for you to be in control of your trading. Guys, I cannot tell you I don't want to use the term rush because, again, we're not doing this for entertainment. We're not doing this to fill our adrenaline, junkie, inner adrenaline junkie or anything like that. But to be in control of your trading, guys, is when I sit down. I usually sit down on my computer about 90 minutes before the market's open. And at that point, I'm having coffee, whatever. But as the market open approaches, I don't do a lot of trading outside of the New York market hours, okay? To just say that, okay, if I get some clean setups today, I'm going to make money. Now, I don't know what that, how many that may be. I don't know how much money I may make. I may make a mistake. I made a small mistake today. It cost me a couple $100, okay? So, but to just know, okay, that you sit down, you stay in control, you trade your setups, you follow your playbooks, you journal your progress, and do that day after day after day, that you will find success in this business, right? There's no guarantees, of course, but that is as close to one as there's going to get. Now, some people, it may take you 3 months to get there. It may take you 6 months. Some people, it may take 2 or 3 years to get consistent to the point where you sit down at the, again, it's just that I can't describe the feeling, guys, where you sit down and it's, all right, Marky gives me some setups today. I'm gonna be green by a couple grand, if not more, right? And that's what I wish for you guys, and that's what I want to see. All right. So now that we've kind of got through the lesson of the day, it is time to officially go to the big picture. Okay, I'm going to bring myself back up on the screen here because I see my screen share has rearranged itself to another monitor. So you're going to have to give me just about 30 seconds here to get this. Is that the right? Nope, that's the wrong one. So while we're doing this, guys, let me know in the chat. Green or red today? I want to hear where you green or red today, and how many trades you made. Okay, so let's do that. Yeah, and let's get some bells in the chat here, guys, while I pull up our chart. So this is a chart, 4-hour chart of the NQ. We've been looking at this all week. We've basically called every major move in here, and I really want to focus on basically this week. Two trades, 485 drawdown. That's great, man. That's a really nice, a couple of trades, a few $100. That's a really, really nice level there. What's your average position size there, drawdown? What are you trading, like 5 micros? Green 5 trades? Hey, and actually that's a question I want to hear in the position. What is your average position size when you're trading like the ES or the NQ, guys? Go ahead and throw that in there. 2 to 3 contract minis. Okay. All right. All right, guys. So while you guys are putting that in the chat, I want to talk about, let's just kind of review the last few days, right? So we consolidated around this area here, and we broke out up above 18,000, but we couldn't hold it, right? And so we went straight up here all the way down to back to the 17,700 level, major area of consolidation, right? And we talked about as we started throwing up these big buying tails, right, at this point, the probabilities favor to move higher. Sure enough, we came in here. We came into this area of consolidation. And, guys, the markets move from zone to zone, right? Not all of this necessarily is actionable or tradable, but a lot of it is, and especially if it can influence your bias in a given trade or a given session. Again, a long-term bias, guys, doesn't have to get you into any trades. If it can just keep you out of what would otherwise be a couple of losing trades, okay, that can be very, very powerful as well. So let me catch up. 1 to 2 contracts, 2 micros, 2 minis, 1 minis. Okay. I will address the position size here in just a little bit. So a couple of weird candles. These two right here, guys. Let me get all this stuff off the screen here. But we broke out above them, right? So we looked like we were forming a multi-wick rejection. Now, and there's still 50 minutes on this candle, so in theory we could retrace, but I don't know if that's going to happen after hours. So the next stop for us, guys, is back up here in this area. And where do we go from there? Do we then bounce off and head lower, or do we break out and head higher? Okay, so that's going to be what we're going to watch. Where are we now? Very possible that we try that area overnight and moving into tomorrow. I would expect maybe in the opening hours tomorrow, unless some sort of news comes out. Tomorrow is Third Friday, which means it's options expiration, which means, guys, there can be some weird price action, especially in the major indexes. So just be aware of that. I don't think it's triple or quad witching. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but yeah, so guys, this is our macro, right? So we said as soon as we got down here and threw up these tails, we were back to being short-term bearish, or bullish, excuse me, or short-term bullish. And sure enough, I'm short-term bullish up until we reach this level, right? Now, if we throw up another long tail here, I'll be short-term bearish, okay? And maybe we retest this area or we retest this area. But right now, I am going to be short-term bullish as the markets open tomorrow, of course, subject to change with any sort of new information. Okay, so guys, I just want to say this on position sizing, and most of you guys are in decent position sizes, right? One of the reasons that I am such a big fan of Blue Sky Static account, right? So it's the $150,000 static account. You have to make $2,000 with a static drawdown, I believe, of $800. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But the maximum position size is it only lets you do 5 micros, right? And so it keeps you, $800 loss, just 2 minis. You can do that in 10, 15, 20 handles on various, almost anything you're trading. So it's good that they keep it to that level. Making $2,000 with 5 micros, you're probably not going to do that in just 1 or 2 trades. It's probably going to take you a few trades, which of course then means you have a losing trade or 2 in there. You're very rarely going to go straight up to that level that you need. So just let me say this, guys. If I don't care how long you've been trading. I don't care if it's been 2 months, 2 years, whatever the case may be. If you've yet to see consistent profitability, okay, so you're and by profitability, I mean, are you green most weeks? Okay, days are so up and down, guys, and especially when you're still figuring it out, it's not uncommon to have a couple of red days in a row. Even now, I think I've had four or 5 red days this year. It's not a ton, but it's still, they happen from time to time, right? Even if, the best traders I know still have rev days from time to time. But in my opinion, this is just my not so humble opinion, if you are yet to see consistent profitability, meaning I would say more than 60% of your weeks are green. Okay, and green by more than just a few $100s, right? We're talking $1,000 to $2,000 per week, which is a really nice place to kind of really aim for when you're starting. I think anything more than 2 minis and really anything more than 1 mini / 10 micros is too big a position size. I cannot tell you guys, and I've seen, again, I've worked with over 200 traders in one-on-one scenarios. Many, not all, unfortunately, many of those keep pretty detailed journals, right? So I can look at the journal, and usually we could diagnose a lot of major issues fairly quickly, come up with an action plan to rectify some of those situations, and at least give a couple of action items that will hopefully help that individual, okay? It amazes me where somebody is not consistently profitable. They want to do, 3 to 4 to 5 minis, right? Guys, my position size that I just moved up to is 3 minis, okay? And those that are in my community that see my trading journal every day will tell you I'm doing just fine, right? So you don't need, now, by the end of the year, do I want to be up a little higher? Sure. Do I eventually want to be trading 8 to 10 minis? Damn right I do. But I'm going to need a lot of time to build up to that. In fact, this is one thing I was sharing with some of my fellow traders today. Since in 2024, I was mostly 2, occasionally 3 minis throughout 2023. And I want to, because I had a really good year. I've had, several years straight of profitability. Almost every one of my months is profitable. I want to increase that, right? That I want to keep scaling. We always think of scaling from 5 micros to 1 micros. No, scaling is from 3 minis to 10 minis to 20, whatever the case may be, right? But one of the adjustments for me is seeing, it goes without saying, but as you increase position size and you're doing the exact same trades and stuff you were before, the numbers get bigger, right? So for me, one of the big adjustments I've had to make is I've moved up to 3 minis, and thankfully there have not been many of these, but is that I have to get more accustomed to seeing 4-figure losers, right? I can't tell you on how many $1,000 losses on trades I had in 2023, in calendar year 2023, but it was under 20, right? So less than 20 trades the entire year were, the loss was 1,000, or the number was greater than 1,000. So far this year, there's been a few, right? Now, the wins have gotten bigger too. Instead of being $1,100 to $1,200 winners, you could look at $1,500 to $1,800 winners. You got to get used to seeing those numbers. When you're first starting, guys, don't operate in the thousands. Operate in the hundreds, really below 500, right? Try to make on trades, say, I'm just throwing out numbers there. I don't know your style and strategy, so don't, send me angry emails. But maybe, look for a nice 3 to 2 reward to risk ratio, right? Say, okay, for my trade, I'm going to set my stop loss at $200 and my profit target at 300, right? If you do that and win 50% of the time, your account's going to grow pretty quickly. You're going to pass that eval. You're going to get into funded. Now, you have to have a strategy that allows you to do that. right? And we're going to be, guys, we're going to be doing a little something on this show starting. We're going to test this out in the next couple of weeks and see how it goes. You notice a couple of weeks ago we did the 8 tips to pass your eval. We did 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday. We're going to start doing some more theme type stuff like that. Probably do it informally next week and then formalize it the following week. But I want to have some things that we string out across the week. And especially things, because obviously at Blue Sky here, it's the clearest path to a live brokerage account. Okay, and I specifically want to do some things that I think are going to help. We talk general trading on this show, but I really want to do some of these themes that focused on funding traders, getting funded, staying funded, getting your payouts, stuff like that. So we're going to start, like I said, we'll do something kind of informal on that next week, and then we'll formalize it a little bit. Okay. So guys, just on position size, if you recall when I did that, and the support team back at Blue Sky did a great job. If you go on, when this show is done on this YouTube page, there is a summary video of the 8 tips to pass your eval. And number 1, can anyone tell me what the first one was? You'll get a gold star today if that's the case. But the first one, I know there's a lag here, so I don't want to wait 30 seconds for somebody to respond. First one was take your time, right? And you have a whole month. So if you were to, let's say yesterday was the last day of the Blue Sky 50% off sale. Let's say I know a lot of you did. You purchased an eval. Okay, guys, you've got till March 14th till they rebill you, right? So you've got. And you may decide especially if the account is in a state of failure and you want to take a reset without paying for it, and you just pay your monthly fee. Guys, you've got basically 20 trade. There's anywhere from 20 to 22, 23 trading days per month, depending on how the calendar shakes out, right? So let's say you're in the static account, okay, and you have 20 trading days. That only means you need an average of $100 a day. Now, are you going to do that every single day? No, of course not. You're not going to be plus 100 every single day for 20 days. Okay. But what you can do is at the end of the week say, you know what, I want to be up about $500 to $600 on this eval by the end of the week, and work towards that. Maybe day 1 you're plus 200, maybe day 2 you're plus 300, maybe day 3 you're down 200, and then you're down 100, then you're up 300, right? And so you're working towards that. But everybody, guys, it amazes me that people want to try to pass her. Listen, I know we're all in a hurry to make money here. I get it, right? We all want to be millionaires tomorrow, okay? But I am big on goal setting, okay? It's something I do individually. I work with clients on short-term weekly goals, longer-term goals, and one of the things that we specifically work on is like we talked about, scaling up, going through position sizing and things like that. And in this scenario, in this situation, you just want to be able to, again, make progress. Did I make progress today? Okay. Am I moving towards, I can't be, if you're starting trading today, okay, you started today, barring the weirdest circumstances of events in trading history, you're not going to be a millionaire tomorrow, unless you already are today, right? So you're not going to, if that's your ultimate goal, to be a millionaire trader, and I think that's a little bland goal. I don't think that's, there's other ways I would go about that. But if that's your goal, you're not going to achieve that tomorrow, most likely, okay? 99.99999% chance you're not going to achieve that tomorrow. But if that's your ultimate goal, what you can ask yourself is, okay, I can't do this tomorrow. What can I do between today and tomorrow to help me work towards that goal? Okay, and especially for newer traders, I'm very big on learning-based goals, right? Reading 2 or 3 trading books per month, watching this show every day, right? And taking notes from this, guys. I whether it's something from the charts or just a nice little piece of wisdom I put out. I've told you my favorite trader hack, my number 1 trader hack, guys, pen and paper. Right next to my mouse. I have it down here in my studio. I have it up at my trading desk. If I go on the road and I'm trading on the road, I will bring one of these cheap little Amazon notepads and a pen with me at every time. If you see me trading, you will see a pen and paper, unless I move it out of the way for a picture or something like that. But that's always there. So even on this show, guys, bring that. If I say something that I'm talking for a half hour, the odds are I'm going to say something that applies directly to you at some point. Write it down. Okay, put it in your journal. Maybe there's a place, depending on what journaling software you use, to put that. If not, just type it up in another document. Just pull up a Word document and say, trader wisdom, right? And every time you see something or hear something, first of all, write it down by hand, then go type it, and then your brain has processed it twice. As somebody who comes from a family of educators and a family of teachers, I can tell you that's a great way to retain knowledge. Okay, let me catch up on the chat here. Stay patient. If you could stay patient, I'd be rich. Well, Eric, that's that. I wish I had that. The patience I have. I'm not more patient now than I was when I first started. My emotions are no more in control today than they when I first started, guys. And that's the God's honest truth. That's a cold hard truth. What has changed, right? Because emotional trading is losing trading every single time. So if I'm still having as many emotions in my trading, positive and negative, and both can be deadly, now as I was when I started, well, why am I very successful now, and why did I lose $40,000 in my first 8 months of trading, right? It's because I don't let those emotions affect my decision making. And that's it. Guys, it is not uncommon. In fact, I can tell you right now, I did this 3 times this week, okay, where I see a trade developing, okay, and I set my one thing we're going to do next week, guys. I'm going to give some examples of, or we're going to talk a little bit about order types, how I get into trades, etc. But I'll most of my trades, I set stops to get into the trade, right? So I'm looking for a particular pattern. The pattern is valid if the NQ breaks 17,900, or we'll say 18,000 because it's a nice round number, right? So I'm going to set my stop in. I mean, don't ever enter a trade right at 18,000 or right at around level, guys. But I'm just for the purposes of this example. So I'll set my stop market order at right where I want to get in. Yeah, there'll be a point or two of slippage. That's just how when the markets are moving, how they operate. Get into the trade. I will set if my anxiety, if some of my emotions start getting the better of me and I can't trust myself in that moment to properly manage the trade, I will set a stop loss. I'll put the order in. I will set an initial profit target. So if I'm doing 3 minis, I'll probably scale out in thirds. I will set my initial profit target. This happens to me a lot on first trades, guys, when I'm still kind of getting, if a first trade happens I don't trade usually the first 15 minutes of the market open, but if we're about 20 minutes in and a trade happens and I'm still kind of, processing what's going up, and maybe I don't have the confidence level that I will 2 or 3 hours into the market when we've established some support and resistance intraday, I'll set my stop. I'll set my initial profit target. I'll turn my speakers up so I can make sure I hear when one of those 2 triggers, and I'll go to the kitchen and whip up a 2-minute breakfast or make another cup of coffee or something like that. And if I hear a trade trigger, I will come see. If I stopped out, okay, trade's over. I'll clear my orders and I'll start looking for the next one. If I hit my initial profit target, I move my stop up to above break even, right? So I'm guaranteed some money on those last couple of contracts, and then I'll layer in my next couple of exits. Okay, so I do all that, and then I very well might go finish what I was doing, right? Sometimes I'd probably say 80% of my trades I'm watching quite a bit, but there's that 20% where if I know my emotions are going to get involved, right? And I'm not going to be in control of my emotions, that I need to remove the problem, in this case myself, from the situation. Okay? Yeah, emotionless trading is vague and misleading, James. That's exactly accurate. I wish trading educators would frame that differently. Most of them are very well-meaning when they say, the proper phrase is not "don't have emotions while trading." It's "don't let your emotions affect your trading." That is the key. Okay? So if you have any questions on that in the last few minutes of the show here, feel free to drop those in the chat, and we will definitely be going through those. In fact, we're going to go ahead and open up our trader mailbag and take a look at any questions that we have here. So let me go back in the chat. Okay. A lot of comments today. By the way, guys, make sure you're giving us a like and a subscribe if you're not. Ring the bells in the chat so you stay notified. Emotionless basically meaning flexible bias. Well, no, Ethan, that's not necessarily it. Your bias should always be flexible, right? Like I just told you my bias going into tomorrow, my thesis, and I sometimes use those words interchangeably, and I should probably be better about that. That's probably something I need to do better. But remember what I say constantly. A trade is where a thesis meets a setup. I don't trade without a thesis, and I don't trade without a setup, right? So, for example, if let's say the markets were open right now, okay? Technically they are, but you know what I mean. Let's say it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and we're moving with this chart right here. I'm going to be saying I'm going to have a bullish thesis, a bullish bias, okay? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I won't ever take a short trade, but I'm going to be looking for long trades in that scenario. And let's say I get a setup, right? It's like one of my setups called the RTT. The Renko trend trade. And so let's say I get an RTT long signal and I have a bullish thesis, a bullish bias. Boom, I'm in the trade without hesitation. Okay? If it meets my criteria and my thesis is aligned with it, I'm in that trade 11 out of 10 times with no exceptions. Okay? So for me, that's when I actually have zero emotional issues getting into trades. It's once I'm in trade, sometimes I have a history of taking profit too quick. Or moving my stop actually up too quick and being stopped out of a trade for a $500 loss and what would have never hit my original stop loss. And that's why, again, if I feel that anxiety kind of getting up here, I set my stop. Sometimes I don't leave my desk. Sometimes I'll just set my stop. I'll turn over. I have a monitor on the side of my L-shaped desk, and I'll just turn and read an article about something, or I'll look at it in another instrument. I'll look at the CL or something like that. I think I need to be dependent to someone in order to behave and stick to my rules. How to find such a person? Well, accountability is big, Henrik. Accountability is a very, very big thing. And having someone or a group of somebodies. I had a small group of traders when I first kind of started to get into being serious about this about 7 years ago who helped me. There were 6 of us. I've told that story on this show before. Maybe I'll get back into it next week about the Traders Club, the little group we started. And I have a small community of clients that we do that right now. So it's just a matter of being able to, a group of people, maybe you post your journal every day, you talk about your struggles, you get through that. That's an important thing to have. Great place to start is the Blue Sky Discord. You can post in there at any point, asking for feedback or anything like that, and hopefully that helps you. Same, taking profit and watching a trade go crazy and then trying to chase was an issue for me for like 6 weeks. That if it was an issue for like 6 weeks and then you stopped it, you're way ahead of the curve. That was an issue for me for about 6 months. So congratulations if you've managed to kick that turkey, because that's chasing and FOMO is a very, very deadly combination. If you're somebody who struggles with that, it's not going to change overnight. I can tell you that right now. But one of the ways that I always encourage people, and what I actually did, I actually took a Post-it note, because what's FOMO? Fear of missing out. You're afraid you're going to miss this trade and there won't be another one for days, weeks, months, whatever. That's not true. There will always be another trade. And I actually wrote that on a Post-it and put it on the bottom of my monitor. It said there will always be another trade. So every time I felt like I was about to chase into something, I would look at that. Did it stop me every time? No. But it helped, and it played a role in correcting that behavior. Used to get so mad. I know. Well, what's the old saying is, once you decide you want to be a trader, the very first thing to do is make sure you find a good drywall repairman, right? I've never thrown or punched any holes in the wall, thankfully, but it's not for lack of wanting. That is 100% sure. Yeah, that's definitely something that you need to do. All right, guys. So for any future questions, you are able to reach out to me directly at Discord. Trader Matt is my name there. I will never directly message you out of the blue. Especially, I don't deal with any crypto scams. So anybody pretending to be me that tells you something about crypto, that's garbage. But you are welcome to message me. I usually sign off at Discord for the night. About 5 or 6, but I'm usually checking things throughout the day. So give me a few hours to respond. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out there. All right, guys. So next week, we've got a really, really big week on deck. Next week, as I said, we're gonna work on some themes and do some things throughout the week. I want to thank you guys. We're just 3 weeks into this show, guys. Or are we 4 weeks? think we're 3 weeks into this show. And no, 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is the end of our 4th week of this show. You guys have been great about showing up on a day-to-day basis, right? And we're slowly but steadily growing, slowly but steadily getting views and likes and all that. And that's how we want to build this, right? We could go spend $25,000 on Google or Facebook ads promoting this, and I can tell you from personal experience and other companies I've worked for, that'll bump things up for a day or two. But it's the small, slow, organic growth that is really important. And for those of you that are here every day, and I see your names that you're here and you're commenting, you are the ones I'm going to bet on long term because you're doing the work. That's a phrase not a lot of people in this business want to hear. Okay, they want to hear. Trust me, I know. I've seen all the emails. They want to hear how you can make $10,000 in 5 minutes tomorrow. Is that technically possible? Sure. Is it something a lot of people with less than 10 years of experience are going to be able to do? Probably not. Okay, you have to do the work in this business, and maybe that takes you 3 months, and you're consistently profitable for the rest of your career. Maybe it takes 5 years. I don't know. Everybody's trading journey. We all go through we all have the same stops on our trading journey, but we all take very, very weird and different and circuitous routes to get there. Okay, so stick with it. And those of you that show up to a show like this after the markets are closed, this is 30 minutes a day. It's 2 hours a week. That's a lot of time. You are the ones I will bet on. Because you are the ones doing the work, showing up, learning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You go to webinars, you do all that kind of stuff. You read the books. Even if you just want to trade the New York market 9:30 to 4, if you just want to trade half the New York market 9:30 to say noon, okay, that's great. And quite frankly, that's most of my trading is in that time window, and I do very, very well doing that. But it's all the work I put in outside of that, which is what leads me to the success that I've had in my trading career. So with that in mind, guys, we're going to wrap up another week here. We don't have a show on Friday because who wants to come here at 4 o'clock on a Friday? We all want to go relax and wind down from the week and hopefully celebrate another great week or celebrate an eval passing or celebrate a first, second, or third withdrawal from our eval accounts. And this show is going to continue to do what it can to help you get there. I really appreciate each and every one of you showing up. Thank you for another great week of this show. That's it for another week of Beyond the Bell. I will see you Monday at 4 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everybody.